Good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is Karen Gisoni, and I'm the Helen Bernstein Librarian for Periodicals, and it's a real pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the New York Public Library to Periodically Speaking. We are so thrilled about our evening's program. We subtitled Periodically Speaking 100 Years of Literary Magazines at the New York Public Library because the library is celebrating its centennial right now. And basically what we've been doing all spring is kind of looking back, looking forward with literary magazines as our guide. And we're so thrilled to have Kweli here tonight. We've been wanting to have an online journal, and we found the perfect one. So enjoy the evening. Big thanks to Tasha Sorensen for all her work organizing Periodically Speaking. And thank you all for coming. Enjoy. And now I'm going to hand it over to Tasha.
Hi, thanks again for coming, and we're very pleased to have Kweli, is that how it's pronounced? Okay, it's Kweli here tonight. A few quick words about CLMP. We're the Council of Literary Magazines and Presses. For over 40 years, we've helped independent literary publishers navigate the business of publishing. All the unsexy parts of the business, subscriptions, grants, marketing, all that stuff. We currently serve over 500 indie lit publishers in America, plus a few in Canada and overseas. And of course, the library is one of the best resources for periodicals that I've ever seen or heard of in the country, frankly. So, you know, hang out here, or come back, I guess, to the periodicals room and take a look at what they have available in the stacks and online as well, and find a literary magazine that really speaks to you. So what we're trying to do with this series, I guess, is just highlight contemporary topics and that the publishers and the publishing community and, you know, the literary community really needs to know about. And online, obviously ebooks and online publishing is a big topic right now. So I think we found, like Karen said, we found a very, very great journal to help us start a discussion on that. And a few quick acknowledgments. I'd like to thank the Axe Houghton Foundation, the New York State Council on the Arts, the New York State Department of Cultural Affairs, and the National Endowment for the Arts. And in return, a tremendous thanks to Karen Gisoni and the New York Public Library for hosting us, and the rest of the CLMP staff, Steph Opitz, Jamie Schwartz, and Jeffrey Leppendorf, without whom this series couldn't be possible. And also, if it would really help us if you could fill out, before you leave tonight, the little green forms. Just give us your thoughts if you haven't been here before. And so, without further ado, I give you Laura Pengram. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening to you. I'd like to ask the Kweli family members to join me here so that I'm not standing up here by myself. Want some company before we begin the program. Please be seated. It's nice to see the sun come out. I want to thank Tasha Sorensen once again for the invitation to be part of the Periodically Speaking program. I really appreciate it. I also want to thank Karen Gisoni for making us welcome and catering to our every need. Kweli Journal is less than 2 years old, so it's pretty sweet to be part of a program that celebrates the library's centennial. Thank you again for the invitation. As a quick introduction, Kweli is an online literary journal that presents a vision of the world that is complex and multivocal. This is a major change for online literary journals, and we're proud of what we've accomplished in a relatively short time. While we realize that there is an ongoing debate about whether writers are best served online or in a print journal, we're not here to engage in that particular discussion. The topic for our panel tonight is There Are No Strangers, Using Technology to Close the Distance Instead of Closing the Gate. Tonight we will be using 2 photography books as jumping off points in our discussion. Nothing Personal by Richard Avedon, with a text by James Baldwin, and A Kind of Rapture by Robert Bergman, with an introduction by Toni Morrison. The question that came to mind when I was reviewing the photographs and the text in both books was, how do we close the distance of culture, continent, age, and gender in an online literary journal? And how do we compete with Hollywood films and television that generally encourages folks to close the gate as opposed to opening it? The answer, quite simply, is language. This evening, we intend to look at language. We want to talk about speaking through photography and closing the distance using technology. Before I introduce each member of the panel, let me share a quick bit about Kweli's history. Kweli was heavily influenced by 2 journals, Callaloo, a print journal dedicated to the African diaspora, and Blackbird, an online literary journal that's based in Virginia. We launched our first issue of Kweli in December of 2009. It was pretty clear to us that a multitude of voices were frequently overlooked in the industry, and our stories were generally underappreciated. That's why Kweli is important to this landscape. In our short history, we have published award-winning authors such as Angie Cruz and Victor LaValle, as well as relatively new and undiscovered voices. Princess Perry was recently selected as a finalist for the Thomas Wolfe Award for Fiction, and Santi Frazier is currently the Lannan Foundation Indigenous Writer Fellow. This past April, Kweli was honored to have Pulitzer Prize-winning author Edward P. Jones join us for a reading and conversation with Wyatt Mason. Our fundraiser was held at the New York Times building. Edward P. Jones spoke about voice that evening, the Southern voice, specifically his mother's voice. She had a certain voice that was Southern and was all her own, Mr. Jones said. And I think that whenever I put down a sentence, I'm trying to create that way she had of talking. It had a certain melody to it. Tonight, we will share some of the melodies within our sentences, some of the music in our art. By now, you've had a chance to view some of the images from our slideshow. You will agree that the photographs speak. They do not sensationalize or simplify. They express our full humanity. They succeed where the media often fails. The American portraits are recognizable. There are no strangers here. Kweli was born to carry on this mission, to tell the truth, to show complex people of color, and not one-dimensional sketches. Our prose, our poetry, our photo essays fill in the spaces. Before we move into our discussion and talk about images and language, I would like to briefly introduce the artists who have joined me today for this panel and for the readings. They will tell you more about themselves before they read, but for the time being, to your left is Naomi Extra. As I move to the side, we have Nicole Vasquez. Next to her is Toni Plummer. And last but not least, Rachel Eliza Griffiths. Let's welcome them all
Good evening. Again, I'm Naomi Extra. I'm one of Kweli's editors. I'm also a poet and writer and student of writing. I'm a graduate fellow at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, studying African American studies and creative writing.
Hi, my name is Nicole Vasquez, and I am a contributing editor on this beautiful and important journal. I am a writer, and I'm also an educator. I work for District 75, which is a branch in New York City's Department of Education that works with children who have special needs.
Hi, I'm Tony Margarita Plummer, and I'll have a short story published this month in the journal, which I'm really excited about. My short story collection just also recently came out. It's called The Bolero of Andy Rowe, set in California, which is where I'm from, and I work in book publishing. I'm an editor.
Hi, my name is Rachel Eliza Griffiths, and I'm a poet and photographer, and I will have poems in the forthcoming issue of Kweli, and I'm just really happy to be here. Thank you.